are you saying no to Tesh?
because I'm evil.
Hello.
You are evil.
And welcome to the evil campaign. Jarviskjir Mother's Love. Apparently, there's like a Twitch glitch going on right now that says it's Narashira Nights. I don't even understand that.
Not on the name. Like the
oh!
band in the
Yeah, that's...
Narashira Nights.
That's absolutely real.
Oh,
That's absolutely a thing. Yeah.
Just that the Americans confused us.
No, that's absolutely my bad. It's a nicer logo, so.
Wow. Do we have a logo?
Yeah, for this game we do, but it's not like relevant to what's happening right now, right? It was the key that started everything.
That was
Anyway,
a key and a half.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excellent. I'm fantastic. I'm ready to go. How about you, Neil? Excellent. Ian, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you, Dean.
Brilliant.
How about you, Will?
I am sore and tired, but in a good way. Doxy, how you doing?
I'm getting a really big zit right under this nostril.
Ooh.
Yeah!
It hurts.
God,
Alright.
under nostril zits.
It's the worst. It is the worst.
Calling
I've
them
been crashing
zit.
at my friend Reed's house a lot, and boys don't wash pillowcases. So I'm getting zits.
That is a
I
thing.
wash pillowcases.
I
What
wash
the hell?
pillowcases.
Dude,
I do
Yeah.
too, but I had to be
That's grim.
trained to do that.
Yeah, I am aware of the meme.
I know the truth. It's fine.
I'm saying, I washed them, I just had to be trained to do it.
This is raw sexism live on air, everyone. I am being oppressed.
Well, you are in
So are
the
my pores.
Underdark.
Maybe
right?
at the weekly meeting, you could teach my friend Reed how to fucking wash his pillowcases.
Well, maybe
the
you
weekly
could just
man meeting.
Read how. I got it in there,
Wow.
guys. I did it.
Wow, is it too late to boot him off the stream?
Thank you, everyone.
I've
On today's episode, Vale dies.
That
We
would
can
be
only
so
dream.
sad.
I would be really sad too.
So, where are we at? Well, it's been a little while, and we were kind of in between things, so it's important to give a little bit of context. You are heading out to hunt down and kill one of the people on your list of the influential members of the sort of court or leadership or whatever you want to call it of the usurper elves in Narashiro. You're going after their artificer, their kind of science lead, Tanua Bieris, who did a bunch of research about it. She's kind of linked to a lot of technological advancements and research and all that sort of thing in the country of late. You found out that she is apparently some sort of master of cloning, as well as having a secret laboratory hidden away in the cavern side far to the west, beyond a burnt-down forest. And you, with your little shrunken-down beetle, snuck out of the city,
He's in crab form.
reshaped the beetle, and are heading off on Beetleback on quite a long journey through the fungal forests towards where you know the laboratory to be. And that's actually where we start off, most likely a couple of days into your journey on Beetleback. These,
Yeah, because we went to the casino-y place,
yes,
remember?
that was your way out.
Was that?
city.
I thought it was a crossroads.
No, you actually go further away, but it was a safe way out of the city as long as you don't get caught on that side, which has way less defenses. Your beetle, these beetles, they're called great server beetles. They are around the size of an elephant. Massive things that aren't particularly fast, but you'd have to walk by foot, and they can carry a lot of cargo. And this guy specifically is a cargo one because you stole it from a merchant. You guys can all very comfortably sit on the back. Even if you want, at some point someone can walk beside, but there's really not a whole lot of point. All of you can very easily sit on the back of this thing and eat and play games or do whatever it is you want to do while traveling across the countryside. I was really just kind of wondering if there's any sorts of role play or anything you want to point out that would have happened around, the start of the journey on Beetleback for any of you.
No.
I don't think so. I think the only thing I would think is that Riley would maybe ask the group as a total, like, I know that I'm here to help you, but is it necessary that we kill every last one of these people, or is potentially changing them an option?
I'm not sure that we necessarily have time to change someone's opinion. Someone's who is probably reasonably well indoctrinated into the drow way of thinking. If nothing else, this artificer may not care at all about the surface realm or what happens with it. However, I should imagine that she is allowed more freedom, more funding, more resources due to the war being closer. There will be more use for her skills. I should imagine that she is intelligent enough to see that the war benefits her. And so changing someone's mind would be quite difficult. And who's to say that we truly change someone's mind and they simply do not say, okay, yes, you've changed my mind. And then 2 months down the line, they are still practicing whatever we were going to stop them from doing.
Particularly considering that these are not mere randomers on the street. Changing their opinions might be one thing, but changing someone's opinion who is high up in the Daimals, in the structure of society here, that would be a much greater effort. The best although it is not worth dismissing out of hand. I think the easier option in most cases is going to be changing them into a puddle of blood on the floor.
I would agree. The only reason I even bring it up is because we have successfully killed one, barely getting out of there alive, and failed at killing another, and are now known. The only reason I bring it up is just simply because it might be an easier option at times, and we should just keep it in our pocket as a card to play.
I'm better at killing than I am at talking.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't do the talking. You kill things. I agree.
I think if we had attempted to talk to either of the people before, we would simply have been killed on the spot.
Again. And she would just basically drop it at that. She wouldn't bring it up again.
For the most part, Serena's still sulking. She's still quite reticent and not really talking much and paying more attention to the beetle than the group. But she is keeping an eye out for particularly dwarven caravans on the roads. If there are any caravans passing us, I assume we're on.
So for the first, week or so of your travel, you are traveling through areas that have traffic, right? Like I described before, the kind of area directly around Narashiro and even further south, but you're actually going west, is farmland with roads between them. So you do pass, particularly other beetles being pulled by slaves and things like that. It's very rare that you find another great beetle the route you're going, so you usually don't have to stop and awkwardly go to side. But there's the smaller ones carrying cargo and slaves pulling them. But you are going away from civilization, right? If you were going east, you'd be going towards the Dwarven Kingdoms or anything like that. But let's see if you do find a dwarf or two. Because you are traveling for quite a while.
That's good. I like that, because that means less means that it will take a lot longer for reinforcements to arrive.
There you go, buddy.
Words hard.
Those are words.
You actually do find a dwarven caravan while traveling. It seems like a group of prospectors or something, based on just their appearance. They have the smaller beetles carrying a bunch of their equipment, which looks kind of... The amount of load these beetles carry, even the smaller ones, which are around the size of horses instead of being the size of, elephants. Massive stone chests piled up upon the back of their carapace, and they just continue moving along, not really much of a concern. There is 2 dwarves, one clearly in charge. They're actually wearing what... The other one is wearing a helmet that kind of has a chunk of glowing crystal like embedded in the front of it that's kind of cascading light, and they are... you'd actually find them by the side of the road, basically doing a little bit of like an excavation kind of thing. They also have one of those empty men beside them, those empty suits of dwarven armor. It's kind of keeping watch of the road.
So most of what we can see is equipment. It doesn't look like they have found any actual resources like ore or anything, or is that something I can't really tell?
You can give me a insight check, I think would be best for this.
Yeah, I was going to say insight probably makes more sense.
You're like one of the few characters ever who's okay at insight, right?
No.
Well, two is better than most people.
That's Yulia.
Who is good at insight? I'm not.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, especially because these dwarves, while there are similarities, they carry themselves very different to the merchant dwarves you would have seen in Tran, right?
Yeah. Serena is too sullen and in a bad mood to mention why she is looking out for dwarves to anyone else, so that's basically the end of that.
Why
Okay,
is
there's
Serena
no-
in a bad mood at the moment? Is she sulking because she didn't get some...
She's sulking for a variety of reasons.
Didn't get some of that sick fairy dust.
Yeah,
right?
she didn't. The fairy was the last straw, and now she is sulking.
So you're not even going to stop for them?
No, not even going to bother stopping.
Okay.
I mean, I can't speak Dwarven or anything. I'm not explaining it to the party, so no.
Anything else
I mean-
anyone would...
I think that Indira would pick up on her being upset and mention it.
Well, I mean, how would you go about that?
What's on your mind?
Serena looks at you for a moment.
Vale gets up and moves to the other side of like the...
Because you're all on this big beetle. There's no
Like, in
privacy.
between them, and he's like...
Yeah.
It just moves away.
This place does not agree with me, Indira, and I cannot imagine that is any different for you or anyone else, but I do not speak any... I do not share any languages with the majority of those down here, and I do not seem to be able to get what I want down here. It is distasteful.
On the bright side, there are a lot of people that worship you here.
There are, yes, and for a time that was entertaining, but not being able to communicate with them has its own challenges, particularly when half the time my interpreters, she sends a glare at Riley, who probably isn't paying attention, do not translate correctly for me.
Perhaps this artificer will have books or items that will help us to learn some of the languages down here. I would like to learn too. I mean, if I'm going to look the part, I should probably sound the part as well.
Yes, one would imagine that she is likely to hold those sort of things. Also, assuming we get the chance to lift what we want from her laboratory, it would be useful to me if you could keep an eye out for anything made of mithril.
Sure.
Thank you.
As we pass by the dwarves, I start singing in Dwarvish.
They all you hear is grumbles, and noticeably the empty sort of automaton defending them, like the red light inside them, wells up, and they kind of enter a more defensive posture while your beetle slowly ambles past, and you're singing.
Just singing, yeah.
Just back to normal when you've gone.
Mm-hmm.
You said that moved, right?
What moved?
The automaton.
The suit of armor.
Yeah, you've seen it before. You've killed one.
But like, I'm like aware now we're going to go see an artificer. To me, it seems reasonable that more of them might be there. Looking at it, would I be able to, like, looking at it as a piece of armor, bearing in mind that the veils...
Yeah, you know about armor.
Yeah, would it be reasonable for me to, like, say, that bit's not needed for armor, that bit's not needed
You can
for
give
armor,
me
and try to assess, like, weak points, like, where would you stab it? Where would you kick it?
That would be an Arcana check. I know you're not really looking for Arcana, but, you know, it is a magical construct. Also, it's an intelligence skill, which kind of fits. Yeah.
Nice.
It's one of those things where we only get a short glance now as well. I imagine Vale does think through this process, but really gets no answers.
Yeah.
Okay. The trek, for the most part, is relatively harmless. You keep your illusions and tricks on at all times, because nearly all the time there is someone that might glance up at you. You were told, and it does seem to be true, that no one really looks up at who is driving these beetles. They're just... It's like you don't look into a car most of the time. It's just a beetle. Someone's just going somewhere. You go from somewhat maintained farmland very quickly into just completely unchecked wilds. The fungal forest that blooms around here is unmistakably beautiful. It could inspire songs and works of art due to the insane colors that bloom in the giant fungal trees. And they are massive, some, you know, going 40 feet high or even further. There's, in some places, sort of these fungal strings actually stretch further than you can see. Many of them resemble trees, and almost like willows, where they have these kind of tendrils that flow down or kind of branch off like trees do. Many of them are just completely abstract shapes. But there is kind of a road dug out at this point. Just a road that has been traveled by beetles for thousands of years, and where the fungus grows less. The colors that bloom here are enough that you can travel by, but if that weren't enough, there's always the slight twinkling light that comes from what you could easily mistake when you're sleepy and tired for stars that twinkle above in the cavern's roof. While going through the much more unchecked wild area, you are aware of quite a lot of dangers. You're never attacked by anything, but sometimes you see things lurking in the plant life. Strange creatures that are almost weird mishmatches of things, like things that almost look like birds with more bear-like features. In fact, you've actually seen one of those before when you were fighting the Medusa. Giant spiders seem abound. You even have to make detours for some point to avoid massive spider webs just clog up the arteries of the roads. But you don't find very much in the way of people. No, and there's also almost always a cloudy, almost mist or fog that's made up of fungal spores flowing through the air that I imagine agitates you all quite a bit. What would be quite interesting is that you actually get most aware of it due to them getting stuck to Serena, and Serena kind of getting a film of bright-coloured powder on her skin at sometimes.
I've just got an image of Serena sitting there, like with a blank look on her face, like her entire skin covered in this stuff, and just going. In that sort of really annoyed,
the
but not
Queen
actually
of
gonna do anything
Darkness
about
covered
it.
in really bright, colourful lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like anyone who goes to even mention it, she just like glares at momentarily.
Awesome. Again, this trek lasts a long time. You guys are kind of used to these long journeys at this point. It's nice that you don't have to walk it. And with your flask of nourishment, you know, there's not really much concern. There's not even much need to stop very often because these beetles can go for an extremely long time without tiring. And luckily, Serena's animal handling is actually really good, and she is basically the beetle tamer, telling the party when they need to stop and get off and let him feed and stuff like that. Eventually, around 2 weeks into your journey, you find this fungal forest starting to wither out and die. There are areas where you can yet again now see the harsh rock of the cavern below. There are areas where there's no light from the trees. And as you were told that you'd have to go through an area that had been long burned, you're aware it is this area. You can see sort of the stumps and trunks of these fungal plants withered away, blackened, but some of them still burn, ever so slightly, with a sort of emberous orangey red. Some places this kind of embers float through the air as if the place has been stained by the fire that burnt it so long ago, which, due to the kind of ambient magic that no doubt your sorcerer and totally a bard, not a wizard, would have noticed, is strange in this place. It's when traveling through here and when being more careful, you can see for much further, but you just feel there's more danger in this place, especially because of how unearthly it is, right?
What sort of feeling do I get from the magic? Is it similar to my... I assume it's not similar to my own, but how is Serena feeling it?
You can give me an Arcana check for that.
Yep, with
Please
my
do.
other +1 skill.
Oh,
That's pretty good. That's enough. Again, you're a sorcerer. You just kind of feel, and the heat you're feeling is very much, you know, a very elemental fire magic. This isn't demonic. This isn't shadowy. This is what it looks like. Which, to be fair, you do have to check for quite a lot for this kind of thing. Something very powerful, fire happened here, and
Serena
is remnant
is
in the place.
Serena, because it's fire, is quite uncomfortable and will say at some point, "You remember those fire creatures that the Farseer, Future Seer, whatever her name was, conjured? The magic here is of a similar nature. It is most unpleasant."
Yes, you look as if someone baked a trout covered in breadcrumbs.
A rather unflattering comparison, but it is probably not an inaccurate description of how I feel at the moment.
You look beautiful, but you do look unwell.
Yes, I feel unwell as well. This is not my realm, but no matter, we need to continue.
I would walk over to Serena and say, I do think it's best we keep an open eye, and I will cast Prestidigitation a couple times on her to take those spores off of her. And then I will say, I'll definitely keep a vigil eye just in case we see anything like that. And I will cast See Invisibility. So for the next hour while we're traveling, anything's invisible, I can seize it.
Can you give me a perception check?
Yeah. Perception. Oh, not performance.
No.
Hey.
Yeah.
Looking around, you don't see anything invisible, but just looking around with a careful eye, being someone who actually, you know, knows to watch out for tricks, you see that a lot of these sort of burnt out husks of these giant fungal trees have very similar shaping to them. Some of them almost look like they were alive at some point. And one of them, in fact, looks more alive than most. And it's almost, as always, it's when you're like, wait a minute, what's that? That this thing becomes aware of your presence as well, directly traveling through its territory. And where there are these burnt branches that kind of droop and hang down, each one of them opens up with an eyeball that kind of all twist and focus towards your beetle wagon, and slowly arms start to snap out of the burnt and twisted fungal bark, and this giant shambling burnt creature starts to kind of amass from the tree, like a burnt ent.
I don't like that.
Would you all get off the beetle seeing this?
I would stand on the beetle to be taller. You said it's a very large thing, yeah?
Huge size.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stand on the back of the beetle for now, but I will definitely point it out if anyone hadn't seen it for some reason.
It's one of those things
Is
where...
it invisible?
No. It's
Okay.
absolutely
Nope.
not.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's far away, right? But when you point it out, you can all kind of see it, and it's even now it's kind of animating. It's still really well camouflaged here.
I'm going to say, can anyone talk to that thing? And yell out in Undercommon, we mean you no harm. Hopefully it understands. Don't have any expectation of it too.
We mean you no harm. That was an uncommon.
I will say in Primordial. I know likely it needs Sylvan, but I'm going to say it in Primordial anyway.
It's
'cause I can.
primordial. Definitely primordial.
The creature kind of like lurches, and this motion pulls a long, gangly yet still thick and twisted arm out of its body, which lurches forward in front of it, kind of towards you, and then does the same thing again, twisting its body, launching the other arm out, and kind of starts pulling itself while the rest of the body kind of forms, burning embers in its wake.
Vale's
coming closer.
At what point do we start meaning it harm, fellas?
Vale's gonna hop off the side
Very
of the beetle,
quickly.
drop down and say,
Serena,
I guess we mean you harm.
Serena, get the beetle to safety. It'll trust you. But we can't afford this thing being killed.
You have a fair point. Go. I will lead the beetle away in return.
I'm gonna hop off in front of everybody. Try to get in between everybody.
You just start marching forward.
Non-threateningly though.
I get you.
I will.
As non-threatening as Adira could be.
She's tiny. She's not threatening until she's mad.
Her axe isn't tiny.
That's true. Her axe is like the size of her.
Okay, well then, why don't I give you a little...
A battle map.
This is going to take a little while because this game has been going on for like several years, and so there's a lot of battle maps I need to shuffle through to get you to the right place.
No, it's been going on for years and years. Who'd have thunk it? I burped, I'm sorry.
Those spores really, they do something fierce.
Oh my god, I remember all of these creatures. God, where did we meet those? I know it's not an accurate token necessarily, but
I don't remember what I've used this for you.
I remember
It's
the big drawing up,
It's a blood bug.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes. So
Yeah.
as this creature starts
Until it
coming
penetrates.
closer, kind of between the cracks on the completely black surface, this just raw, fiery red starts to glow. It's not even the red of, like, natural fire, you know, it's a pure, magical fire red. There's no smoke or anything, even, just red, and the embers burn around it. Can you all roll initiative for me, please? I'm not gonna bowl.
I can't get over how pretty it is.
This is one of my favorite. I'll link you the actual full illustration. 'Cause
Yeah,
it was
I
a
want to
really-
see it. I love it.
It was a real banger.
Yeah, I mean, if you like that, wait till you see Ollie's dick.
Oh, Riley.
Hey,
There's always one.
literally.
For Pete's sake.
I'm not going to bother rolling initiative for the beetle, just assuming that, like, Serena, you end up spending your first turn leading it away, right? Smack it on the ass, tell it to
You
go.
slap it on the ass and it just doesn't respond because it's got an exoskeleton.
It knows
Titan.
Serena. Can you, Gilwyn, please take your turn? Just of note, everything here is dim light, if that affects anything, because everything in the Underdark is dim light because there's no sun.
Yeah.
It's almost like, the best way to describe it is that everything is like an overcast day. Sometimes there's stronger patches of light, sometimes there aren't, sometimes there's no light at all.
I will step over to the side just to kind of spread out a little bit in case it's got some burst attacks or anything like that. And I will inspire Indira and say, "Go get it, baby."
Oof.
Her cheeks turn silver.
Oh.
She's
Veil.
such an anime grill.
I just love it when people with oh, look at that. That's not right. I like it when people with different skin tones, like fantasy skin tones, blush and it's a different color. That's
Six.
Well, she looks like black and silver velvet.
yes,
When you
yeah, exactly.
So she gets.
It
all
makes
the way-
total sense. I love it.
Yeah.
I just dropped a dice and it's straight into the
action
void.
to dash. As Vale runs over, he draws the rapier, draws the parrying dagger, and this is fun, so we'll do that. And as he runs, you see the blade beginning to glow just ever so slightly, and then he brings it round across one of the arm-like protrusions from this wooden thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the right attack.
Yeah, I mean it's been a little while. If it's
It has, yeah. I just gotta.
if it's orchid, that's totally fine.
Nice to see my rolling is still
that-
continuing.
Oh,
For the
no,
past week, I've been struggling to roll over 10.
You
Past 2
rolled
weeks.
pretty
I've been
well
struggling to
in
run over
Monday,
10.
but not as well as usual.
Daniel,
Yeah.
Yeah, he siphoned my luck on Monday. I didn't roll above a 10 on Monday.
I've been rolling poorly. It
You
hurt.
run up, the blade starts to glow, and you swing, and it just kind of like goes up against the kind of crusty surface of this monster with just kind of flecks of sort of blackened charred wood
Row.
up against you.
It's my turn.
Okay. Serena.
Skedaddle on the beetle. Or skedaddle the beetle off, rather.
Skedaddle on the-
That's a good sound.
Well, the thing is like the beetles don't make many noises, but the ones they do are pretty cute.
Scritches.
Yeah. Scritch is the beetle. I'm sorry. I forgot that Doxy named the beetle off screen.
So now we've got Punky the shark and Scritches the beetle.
I'm never gonna not laugh when we reference the shark as Punky.
The creature looms over you, Vale. And for a moment you're like looking up with the sword semi-jammed in it, not quite sure what it's going to do. And there is a mouth. While there are many eyes for all the branches, there is a very definite maw that does kind of open, sort of sappy residue sticking between the jaws. And then from the arm around you, just all these sort of burnt ash tentacles just erupt. And you deftly dodge out of the way of every single one of them.
Yay.
It's almost like the arm becomes tentacles one by one before reforming into an arm when it's clear that you've rolled away. And it will actually continue lumbering forward between the most of you. And now it is Indira's turn.
Oh, it makes me so happy he just did that. Hold on. Ah! Wait, I have 40.
Yeah, you have a bunch of movement. You're a
All
barbar.
right, well,
You can
I'm
still
here.
attack from the corner. Ah, I see.
I rage, and we're gonna beat this
You're
bad
gonna
boy
go hard.
in the butt.
What?
Oh wait, I have advantage. I'm sorry, I have advantage. I forgot.
Beg
I'm
the
sorry.
rule of Eric. Beg the rule
That
of
is,
Eric.
yeah, that's a reroll, yeah.
Oh my god.
There's
I
still
like-
a 1 there.
I like the rule of Eric.
Yeah.
Does it make it
That is a
Eric's
hit.
law.
Yes. Eric's law.
Law.
If you all fuck up the roll.
So
it
I've been
can be
struggling
continued.
That's
to.
12.
I've been
You've got
struggling.
inspiration.
12 does not hit.
Okay.
I've been
You've
struggling
got
to roll.
inspiration.
Oh, sorry.
I have inspiration. So I'm going to use it. It's a d6 now, right?
D8.
Just D8. You definitely
Yeah.
notice
Oh my god.
that that attack. Actually, never mind. I was going to say that there's some difficulty with the blade hacking in. You push further, and the sort of steaming magic of your axe allows it to just cleave into the bark of the creature, and just this sappy residue starts coming out.
A nice steamy axe.
You like
Wound.
that? You like my steamy axe?
Oh my god.
Riley.
Riley's gonna be like this fucking thing, and she is going to whip out
Yes.
her
Yes.
ukulele, sorry, and just strum a chord and
yeah.
whispering magic toward this beetle.
You've seen it all.
The beetle.
Not beetle, this ugly thing.
Hmm.
Please
It's
don't
not
attack
out whispers.
scriptures.
Yeah. Wisdom saving throw.
Come on, guys. Hit it with
is
a big
going
drum.
to fail.
Ooh.
That was dissonant.
Dissonant when it goes through
I just did that!
that.
just-
It was too quiet.
Didn't hear it.
Oh. Alright,
Sorry,
game
dogs.
dueling ukes. Let's go.
Okay. It will take that damage and start
Ukes at
moving
dawn.
away. It's one of those things
then-
where often when you do this to a humanoid, you can see like their reaction and everything. This kind of just like a wild beast kind of shakes its head and starts backpedaling back with its arms. And both of you get
Attacks of
opportunity attacks against it if you wish to take them.
Hells yeah, I do.
Same.
Schwung.
Swing.
That's a hit, and that's a hit.
Oh, I missed you, Vale.
And then as a bonus action, I will say, Vale, take care of that ugly beast, giving you bardic inspiration.
Do you blow a kiss as well?
No kiss for you.
I'm not inspired.
Halloween.
I'll take it.
Oh, he's far.
He ran away. He's actually off the frickin' camera.
Burnt tree is not approach very fast.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it almost looks like it's moving slowly, but just because of how huge its gait is, you know, it's traveling quite a far distance. Because this thing is easily 20 feet tall.
I am going to cast Guiding Bolt at it.
Okay, that is a hit.
My god, there was some guiding on that.
That is the
fucking
only
guy.
good guiding bolt roll Dean will roll for the entire session.
By the way, that was at level 1, so I wish I'd have said level 2 before I rolled it.
Too late.
That's still
Still good damage.
This is good damage.
All the better to capitalize on.
Okay. And of course, then the creature starts to glow, right?
What color is the glow from your Soulmender guiding bolt, Dean?
If I remember correctly, it's just kind of like a pure white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything Soulmender is just pure white in the darkness. It's kind of the point. It's a white guitar, right? So, yeah. This like everything has this creature staggering back and backpedaling. There's kind of an aerosol ash, or like black cloud forming around it because you're just sort of causing it to shatter. Vale.
Vale's gonna run forward again. As he runs, he raises the rapier and it begins to glow with the sort of faint golden light. But as he approaches, the color like changes at the tip and down the end to that pure white light of Soulmender, as it sort of points itself true towards the target.
You hope.
I hope.
It's a hit.
It's a hit.
The dice didn't want it, but you finangled it.
It's the power of the power of
Power of love.
friendship
Close enough.
is magic. And then I'll stab it in its big toe with New Faithful.
It kind of has hooves.
I will stab
it in
it
its hoof.
just above the hoof, like in the skin above the
Yeah.
hoof. Yeah. That's right, punk.
New Faithful.
The pretty boy.
The
with
double
no
ones,
damage.
baby.
Beautiful.
Serena.
No regrets. It screamed. Stabbed it in that hoof.
Fly.
Toe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's like, yeah, it just stopped its toe.
3, 4, 5, 6.
The real damage is very low, but the discomfort is extremely off the charts.
Damn it,
Doesn't
it's
do
not
that.
in range anymore. Thanks to moving away. Okay. Serena just floats along there, lazily flicks a shadow bolt from her crown at it.
That's a hit.
That's
Okay.
decent damage at least.
Real good damage. That's Indira damage.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
that's
male
massive damage.
I was
As
hit
the
by-
creature staggers
Fail
back,
higher than Indira damage.
and almost a crack forms on the sort of central surface of it. These tiny animated wisps of smoke fly out of it, kind of starting to launch in all which
Oh my
direction.
god. Shadows.
Like you're so
Yes.
close to them, you can definitely tell that they are smoke, right? And if that's the end of your turn, Miss Serena, they're gonna act. The smoke creatures almost climb out from inside. Some of their features are burning with still some embers. And they are actually going... this one is going to... yeah, this one's going to chase down Serena. Kind of imp-like, with almost wings, but being made of smoke, it's almost just traveling like a cloud, right? Leaving almost this...
Smoke versus shadow.
Elf versus orc. That's an original Jarviskjir meme. That was Midwinter that had that meme at
Really?
every time. There was a really bad CGI art we found at uni, because that party was a uni party, that was like this really ugly elf versus orc and in big letters. It was a good time. And this one is going to chase down Indira. This one. And next is the creature itself, which is going to start moving around Vale. It kind of almost like a gorilla or something, right? Kind of moves on its front legs around you quite quickly, almost sizing you up, and is going to he's going to attack. What's your AC right now? I know it's ridiculous.
It's 20.
That's not ridiculous. That's actually going to be a hit, as it kind of moves around you, confusing you somewhat. The ashen black tentacles launch out and grab at you. You are grappled by that, and will take 13 bludgeoning damage.
I'm gonna actually.
You can uncanny dodge that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that? Half to 6 or?
Yeah. And then, as it kind of grips you up, those tendrils, you kind of have that moment of you're grabbed by the arms and you're kind of still pulling, and then they kind of suck you into the arm, the big mass of the arm, and it kind of covers you almost entirely in this kind of ashen, polyphasic substance, completely containing you within it. and it's just going to keep on doing damage to you as it has you inside, kind of constricting you, dealing an extra 10 damage and then an extra 14 damage.
All bludgeoning.
All bludgeoning, yeah. Indira.
Wow.
Hi.
And that was 10, and then
She goes
14.
there.
Okay, that creature is going to have an attack of opportunity against you. It is going to miss. It just kind of like
All right.
uselessly.
I'm attacking this boy.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah. That is amazing. You just run over to Gilwind, and it just dissipates. Just almost explodes into a cloud of smoke, which does explode into a cloud of smoke, quite literally, making that area kind of concealed in it. Luckily, that's kind of between a lot of you.
Then I'm gonna come back up here and attack this one.
That is also a hit, but not quite as good. That doesn't instantly kill this one.
Does that help?
It definitely helps. It doesn't kill it, though.
Okay.
Next is Riley, who is all the way down there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Riley moves to there, and then is going to cast. You know what? It worked once, might as well work again. Dissonant Whispers, level 1 on that beast, that big beastie.
5 hill.
Aha! This time the spell seems to have no effect. All of the many eye tendrils, there must be, 14 of them at least, start kind of focusing towards you. Their eyes a sickly yellowish green.
Okay, and then half damage.
That's still really good damage, even half.
I know. I rolled
Gotta
amazing.
respect that.
And then bonus action is going to say, Gil, get Vale out of there! Giving you Bardic Inspiration.
Thank you.
And Gil's like... This is like your dad has forgotten how to barbecue smoke. It's just thick and claggy.
10. Yeah, I'm going to cast Shatter right there to hit both the cloud and the Misty Tree.
Okay,
Here only.
I get you. Yeah.
At level 2.
Oh, you nearly went hard. That is Constitution saves. What's your DC?
16.
Wow, that's gone up. The method fails. The tree succeeds.
You fucking...
It's a giant tree. It's got a Constitution modifier.
That's true.
But that immediately, there's just kind of that ringing noise, and that method of smoke is kind of going up to Serena, and then just explodes right in her face. Vale, you are grappled inside the arm of this thing. You are also restrained, semi-obviously.
I am restrained.
Right? Yeah.
Can I attempt to wiggle free?
Yep, that will be a strength, or I will allow you to do, dexterity instead.
So acrobatics.
Just dexterity. I know I always say athletics or acrobatics, but in rereading the rules recently, it's actually meant to be hard strength and hard dex.
I thought it was actual dex.
Yeah.
Like actual acro or athletics. You can use.
It's
it as a grapple
acrobatics
check.
for tumbling and for grappling. This isn't grappling. This is escape DC.
Oh, it's not a grapple. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Counts as a grapple, but is
No,
different mechanically.
I thought it was a grapple.
Yeah, that's not quite enough. The more you struggle, it's kind of like quicksand. The more you struggle, the more it restrains around you. Leaving it Serena's turn.
Serena absently waves away the smoke and says, "Hail limitations, let me show you how it's done." And I will summon Punky on the other side. The wall of text!
Can you?
Oh my
Punky
god.
needs the theme song.
You can't see the creature there. There's a cloud of smoke in the way.
Really?
Yeah!
Step to the side.
I'm not putting the smoke there for aesthetic reasons.
How big is the smoke cloud then? I've got 60 feet
Yeah,
of
you're
movement.
on the other side. Yeah, that's all you needed to do. Yeah, I just have to find Punky. Where is he? Oh, he's not called Punky. Is the issue? I was looking for Punky.
Punky.
Gonna have to name him.
Punky's initiative. That's an initiative.
Better than mine.
And then for Serena's action, she is going to cast a blight. And assuming this thing is a tree, if you target a plant creature or a magical plant, it makes a saving throw with disadvantage and the spell deals maximum damage.
It rolls regular and still fails. So still takes that damage.
So if it depending on whether it counts as a magical plant, which I'm assuming in that case it's 40. Oh damn, it's 40 damage. Damn
It's
it!
still 40 damage. I know it's one of those rule ones. But that's still a massively amazing damage. And can you describe how you kill this thing, Serena?
So Punky just rises out of the shadows in the back, starts biting at it and dragging it down. And Serena makes the normal motion that she does with her fingers to sort of summon the blight. A couple of seconds later, it just sort of starts rising up, and the legs, if you like, the roots of the tree just sort of start melting, and it starts going.
Yeah, it starts lumbering down.
Yeah.
Vale kind of pulled along with it until he's just like on the ground in black sludge.
Yeah.
It's warm and gooey. And we don't even need to keep playing around. This next room effort has 4 HP and can't do much damage. Indira will kill it effortlessly.
We'll just assume it was her
Oh,
lightning.
gather
Like,
round
she
it.
looks at it and lightning arcs off.
Yeah! I'll allow that. I'll ruler cool that. Leaving Vale there in the sludge, where he belongs.
Wow.
Serena slightly cocks her head and says, "I thought it would take a little bit more punishment than that."
You're amazing.
You guys done a lot of damage.
Riley wants to look around. Does it look like it is obvious that a single creature created this much of fire and stuff around? Like you said that trees were caught. This seems...
Arcana check.
Okay.
No, because this was like a burnt tree monster that was generated by whatever calamity occurred here.
Says Vale.
The residual magics in this place appear to have invested this burnt tree with some form of animatronics.
You're not quite sure, but that sounds about right. That sounds like that was not what burnt it, but a result of what burnt it. And like Serena could tell you, he's like, yeah, my magic's... It wasn't actually an ent. It's almost like a kind of mockery of an ent. Made of this blasted place.
It was a Mercury.
It was a Brent.
Oh,
Oh.
Trent.
Yeah, right.
What I've named the rival in every Pokemon game.
It's a good name.
It's the most villainous name I could think of.
For a douchebag.
Bellend. That's what you want to call him.
Trent.
It's the same thing, really.
Oof.
Alright. And this is actually a great place for us to take a little breaky brew.
Time to make a coffee.
Time to make a brew.
I've already had my
to
brew.
do a poo. I was just rhyming. I don't actually need to defecate.
No, you need to go now. Don't lie to us.
The things I do for love.